information-wise and say, hey, this is how we came to this.
Yeah, of course.
And, this is what we think makes sense. I asked to see that information. I still haven't seen it. I want to see it. Let's look at it together and let's decide whether this is appropriate or not. I don't think that's unreasonable.
Was it a departure from what you were thinking? Like, if we would have talked to, what are you hoping for? Was this way off?
I didn't necessarily have, I wasn't thinking about it like that. I was thinking, let's assess everything together and see where we're at. I want to make sure that this is actually reflective, fairly, of, what we have information-wise to collect and look at.
And a part of the reason he wanted to see that is because of the groundswell that he has felt the last several months. He addressed talking to Triple H about being very over despite rarely being on TV.
There was a time where I was off TV for over 3 months. I'd have to ask my wife. She has a much better memory than I do, maybe 4 or 5 months. I was backstage at TV every week, hoping this is going to be the day we're going to get back on TV. He calls me over. We sit down in Gorilla, just check in, shoot the breeze. We get to this conversation. He goes, I want to ask you a question. I go, what? And he says, say they pull you off TV for another 2 months, 3 months. Do you think if you were given the opportunity to go out there and perform at your best, you could get over with that audience, you could entertain them? I said, of course. And he goes, good. I do too. Never forget that. How about 5 months? Could you do it? Of course I could. Good. How about 6 months? How about a year? Could you go out there? If you had no handcuffs, no restrictions, could you go engage that audience? Could you get over it? Could you do what you're supposed to do with this job? I said, yes. And he said, good. Don't ever let the time you're spending off TV rattle you because you know what you're doing. I can verbatim repeat that because that was a conversation that has lived in my head to now. It solidified my confidence in what I was doing like I had never, ever had it before. Once you know what you're doing, and you're certain you know what you're doing, and you've demonstrated that you know what you're doing, there's your relationship that you can have with your people. You just can't doubt it. You can't let things get between those ideas.
Okay, so Nick, quickly, what I will say about that is, why do you have to have a conversation with a guy who's over like Rover about not being on TV for up to 6 months? Just put him on TV and use him every single week. That doesn't even come up to me. What did you make of those last 2 bites?
It's really interesting. First and foremost, if Vince calls you and says, can you ride a motorcycle and jump through a fiery ring? You go, damn straight I can. Can you miss 6 years of TV and show up and beat Cena and have the crowd believe it? You're like, you're damn right I can. So, of course, that is the right thing to say. That's the way to do it.